Hi, and welcome to El Nuclear. It is the day before Thanksgiving 2022, and I wanted to say some things today that are a little bit more random, just some thoughts. I wanted to kind of give some context to some of these videos I've been making. I wanted you to get to know me a little bit. I wanted to just kind of talk to you a little bit about me, just briefly. I make these videos because I always think about these subjects and relating to audio, relating to the experience of listening to music and upgrading stereo components, and my philosophy about listening to music and that it is about music. And I think I like to emphasize that your goal is to just enjoy music and not to obsess on what you want to buy next. And there is so many things that go on psychically in a music lover who is into audio that it sometimes can rob you of the actual experience of just enjoying your favorite music. So I think I'd like to emphasize that idea when I'm talking about specific equipment that I've experienced and I've auditioned. But I personally am actually a musician. I have released, I think my 11th album is going to be the one that's coming out next year. So I have been making music on my own, and now I actually produce, I mix. I'm very much a part of all of the steps in making a finished product, of putting out music. Singer-songwriter. I was in a band years ago where I was the lead singer, and we went through a lot of interesting experiences with labels, and it was a great thing. And I cherish those memories, and I'm very happy and that I'm able to continue making music, in spite of life's, increased responsibilities. And I just feel very thankful for that I still have that muse, that ability is still within me. So yes, as an independent artist, I've put out a lot of records. They're all on Spotify, Apple Music, etc., under J, the letter J, Scott Bergman. So that's a little bit of my background. I'm actually putting out a holiday single. I haven't done this before. I just finished recording a record. It's probably going to come out in the first part of next year. I decided to release one song. The song is called Holidays. It's a holiday song, but it's not by any typical manner. It's kind of a sarcastic holiday song about the idea that sometimes during the holidays people feel this compulsion to travel and to stir things up and go somewhere, and the idea that sometimes you can find a lot of pleasure in your own environment and just staying grounded at home and enjoying that, as opposed to going out into the cruel world and facing airports and treacherous road conditions and all those things that come along with traveling. So it's a little bit of a sarcastic idea about enjoying your holiday in a different way, and maybe in the way you normally would anyway, if you do like to stay home. So that aside, there are a few little things I wanted to say equipment-wise that I wanted to kind of squeeze into this video. Something I did recently was try some different cables, and there was a time where I never thought that an RCA cable would have any influence on the sound of music coming out of your system. And as we all know, if you have multiple components, you're using a lot of cables. So in a way, you're only as good as your worst cable, right? Because there's a chain of cables between components. And there was some confusion, about certain things. When I bought that external phono stage, I kind of thought about what's really the best cable to use between your phono stage and your preamplifier. Should it be another phono cable, or should it be just a regular RCA? Is there any difference? Well, not really, but yes, there are some subtle differences between those types of cables. The grounding cable obviously is the biggest component, but there's going to be differences. So I was using a standard phono cable from turntable to the phono box, and then another one from the phono box to the external input of the preamp. And it was working pretty good. The the cable going from turntable to preamp, to the phono box, was a higher quality project phono cable. I think it's called the CC. It's a pretty nice cable. I was using that, and then I went with a standard project RCA phono cable from the phono box to the external input of the preamp. And that sounded pretty good, but I thought maybe there's a better way. So I went ahead and bought, a little bit begrudgingly because I didn't want to spend more money, but I wanted to try it. I felt like I needed to at least see if there was a difference. I bought a, not the entry level, but a slightly above entry level Audioquest cable, the Chicago, because it's one of the few that separates the RCA into two cables, and they're not joined together, because some of those Audioquest cables, the separation is not enough to actually use the inputs in the back of your components. So I needed two separate cables, left and right. So I got this the other day, I set it up, I did my comparisons, and I will tell you that the quality difference was apparent. The Audioquest cable gave me better detail, and I was hearing things in the music that were not as apparent using the Project second cable. So I am still using phono cable for the first train, from turntable to the box, but then the Audioquest RCA from the box to the preamp. And that is giving me a really clean, distinct improvement in detail. So I was happy. I felt like, okay, $100, it was well spent. So in case you're reeling with any of these questions, I did notice an improvement when I changed that cable. Both were good, but it was a little bit better. And I would say definitely could hear a difference in sonic details coming out of the speakers. And that was cool. So I was kind of excited that that turned out to be okay. So that is something I wanted to talk about in terms of technology, in terms of equipment with your stereo system. Cables can make a difference. And I have other Audioquest cables throughout the circuit, throughout the chain in my system. I'm using Audioquest pretty much exclusively, and the upper level CC cable for the phono by Project. So that's what I've got going there. So I just wanted to kind of talk about these things in general, the cable, philosophy, a little bit of my background in case you don't know. And I really hope you have a good holiday. And thank you for watching my videos. If you're watching this, then I guess you have seen some of the others. I don't do them very often, but I hope to do more. And it's just about having something passionate on my mind that I want to talk about. So there you go. And I hope it was a good year for you. It was a pretty good year for me. I can't complain. I have a lot to be thankful for, and I hope you can say the same. And let's make 2023 a great year, and be well. Bye-bye.